Welcome to Mana TV and TV5. This is another episode of Insight with PRAVEEN. If you see this season, I've started looking for young generation, young entrepreneurs with different ideas. I wanted to promote them on my show to understand how they have come with this journey, what inspired them, and also to motivate the other younger generation. So, with that said, today's my guest is Arya Upadhyay. Welcome to the show, Arya. Thank you so much for joining this. How are you today?
I'm good. What about you, Praveen?
Absolutely, I'm doing great. So, to introduce Arya, she is just 15. She is a patented inventor, entrepreneur, and sustainability activist, model, and public speaker, earning the nomination for recognition at Forbes 30 Under 30. As a founder of multiple startups, she has expanded her initiative to 25 plus countries, raised 200K plus, and developed a renowned biodegradable Nano robot to detect microplastics, a breakthrough with global environment. And also, she is recognized from researchers and industry experts. She was recognized as a Microsoft Mastermind in AI, Women in Technology Award finalist for 2024, and Peer VC Startup finalist sponsored by Andreessen Horowitz. Arya has led a 10,000 plus person team, published research in multiple journals, and spoken at major conferences like John Hopkins Medical Center and Georgia Institute of Technology, providing that she is not just shaping the future, she is redefining it. Wow. Wonderful journey, Arya. At an age of 15, you have achieved so much. Definitely, I wanted to, welcome to this Insight with Praveen Puram. This is a platform where it is very powerful for Indo-Americans and NRIs. I wanted to make this more and more visible in the community, whoever has achieved, irrespective of age, irrespective of gender, irrespective of their work, right? I wanted to recognize and motivate others. So that is one of the reason you are here on this show. Tell us more. How do you feel by recognizing as someone who changed the world at 15?
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it just feels surreal. I'm incredibly grateful, but at the same time, it reminds me that impact has no age limit. It's more motivation to keep working harder and stay grounded.
Arya, did I miss anything during my introduction? So please feel free to introduce yourself if any of the achievements I missed in my introduction.
All right. You've done a good job, Praveen.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about your childhood. Where have you studied? Little bit about your parents and the schooling and where your parents belong to India so that the viewers can understand where you are from, how was your journey at the childhood and what made these sparkling moments to do something different from others.
Yeah, so I was born in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Um, because of my father's jobs, we were always traveling around India. We went to London, we went to the United States. So it was always just a blend of cultures and states. So we spent a lot of time in Pune. We were in Bangalore for a good chunk of my life. I was also raised in London. So I would say there wasn't a set moment that shaped my journey. It was more about the different people, the different education systems really that shaped my perspective.
Excellent. So I would love to ask you what kind of languages, which languages you know from India and also any other languages internationally, and where was the place you liked the most?
Of course. So I can speak Hindi fluently. I can also speak Marathi and Gujarati, but not that fluently. I've picked up Kannada, but it's not very fluent. I can speak French. I've taken French here as well. I've continued my German education through my London education as well. So I would say around five languages, five, six languages that I can confidently speak in.
How long you spent in London?
About 4 years.
Excellent. So tell us more about your high school journey here. Which schools you have studied here? How long you have been in United States? Any other states you have been so far?
So I've only been in the United States for 4 years. I've only lived in Georgia. I started high school a year ago. I went to Innovation Academy in Alpharetta, but because I wasn't able to graduate early from there, I had to transfer to my home school, Northview High School. So this is currently technically my second year, but this is the year that I'm graduating.
Excellent, Arya. I'm very proud that you are a Georgian, and it gives me more privilege and honor to present you to the Georgians as well about your accomplishments. So let's start the spark of your inspiration, right? So when did you first realize that you can make a difference to this world?
So probably around middle school, I was tinkering with like plastic detection, microplastics. I started a school club back then with the help of my teachers, and I was essentially just looking into like how can we have a school garden? How can we like promote the idea of not not having microplastics in our food. So from there, throughout high school, as I learned more about STEM and as I connected more experiences, I was able to take that experience of, starting a club into something that is now patented.
Excellent. So when you are a middle schooler, definitely, when the teacher says that everyone will be enthusiastic and only few will take that vision forward, right? So how did the teachers and your family help, especially during these initiatives?
Of course. So I would say not all the time are your peers willing to help in. Not always is it fair. It's not about who is supporting you, it's about why you're doing it. So my parents have always been supporters for me. They've always been advocates for everything that I do. So having my teachers, my parents as the core backbone in all of my initiatives was super helpful. But I would say just taking your inner reason of why you started that club is more important than who's supporting you or who is willing to join or not join your club.
Excellent. When you say club, what is the name of the club? Is it a standard deca, that sort of clubs, or it's
No, I
your own
started
club?
my own club. So
The
it was
club
like
name?
Planet Change.
Plan to change. Excellent. So when you see the plastics and microplastics at this age, definitely you will just hear it and leave it. But in your case, you pursued. You also thought about the technology, right? So how did this happen in the school?
I would say there was always this sense of duty
Uh-huh.
towards the work that I do. So seeing a problem and actually living that nobody's doing anything about it was something that was a changing moment. So definitely seeing that I could make an impact and that this is something that is not highly looked upon, um, even in even in the day-to-day life that we live in. How many times do we hear about, oh, how much microplastic is in your day-to-day food? We don't really talk about it. So seeing how something that is a very much a real problem is not being discussed at all, was a really troubling moment.
Excellent. That's a great thought, Arya. At your age, you're thinking that it's a lesson for all of us, right? Irrespective of the age limit, everyone need to understand what we are eating. So more, I will come to this nanotechnology, nano robots, what you have developed. So how did you come to? One is giving a thought about what is this microplastic? How can we avoid? What kind of food we are eating and how much we are eating? Apart from that, taking this initiative forward, I see that you also become a speaker and also you are nominated for Forbes or already nominated by Forbes under 30.
I'm already nominated.
So how did this happen? Because the reason I wanted to ask this is there are many people who doesn't even know at this age what is Forbes, right? So how did you get the thought about it, or how did this happen in your journey?
Of course. So I would say having a lot of mentors and putting yourself out there is definitely helpful. throughout my journey, I've had at least a couple mentors in different fields where they're willing to sit me down, talk about their experiences and how I can leverage my technology, like technological skills, assets, into something that is larger. So about the public speaking thing, it essentially started with one of my friends hosting an event where she was like, "Oh, we don't have a speaker at all. Can you be the speaker for this event?" So from there, I spoke, it went well. Then a lot of people reached out to me from that event for a couple next events. And then from the next events, there were like 100 people that are reaching out to me. So I would say it's all about the first step. It would have been way easier for me to say, "Hey, I've never spoken before. I don't want to speak at your event." But just taking that leap of faith and being able to say, "Okay, this is something new. I will try it." And you never know where it's going to take you, essentially.
Excellent. That's the idea I wanted to bring about from this question to people looking. It's the first step what you take, right? The next step will be people will be seeing you, they will promote you, they will give an opportunity, right? That's the main intent for this event platform, right? When Arya comes here, when 25,000 plus people are seeing about Arya, we never know who has an opportunity for you, right? That's the main intent of this. And do you see a value when you go to the events and talk to people, present yourself, be it a speaker, be it as a participant? Do you think it's really good for all the kids to go and join the events which are relevant?
I would say 100%. It is.
Excellent. So tell me more about if being a Forbes under 30, what is that the Forbes will be giving opportunities to you? How do you see this as? What kind of opportunities you can expect? So far, I think you have already been Forbes in Forbes, so you might be seeing some emails or something happening. Tell us more about that. Being a Forbes under 30, what's the benefit?
I would say it's not something that is directly correlated with opportunities. It is definitely a milestone for me to hit. It's like a recognition of all the hard work I've done. So far, I've received a lot of invites for sponsored opportunities and TV interviews like this one. So I would say it's pretty good at putting yourself out there.
Excellent, Arya. I think I'm very, very glad. I'm very proud to interview to you and also inspire the other kids in within your generation and keep doing these wonderful things what you are doing. So another one who you talked about the mentor, right?
Mhm.
Even I have done 90 plus interviews. I was told that you need to have a mentor. Today I don't have a mentor to be honest, right? So how did you meet your mentor and who is your mentor?
Course. So I would say I have a lot of mentors. One of my key mentors, I would say, is Sid Balaga. We met through the SOJC program here in Johns Creek. It's a student leadership program that is ran for 2 years. So he was a alumni for 2019.
Mhm.
And I saw him on LinkedIn. He was doing this thing called Career House, where it's basically helping college students land internships. So I saw that and I was really interested in what he was teaching and how he's helping students, land internships. So even though I was just a freshman in high school at that time, I reached out to him, I gave an interview, and I was hoping for the best, honestly, because he is more specialized in helping college students, and I haven't even thought about college at that time. So, talking about my experiences, my projects, I was building my nano robot at that time. So, I spoke about that with him, and honestly, he saw something that I didn't. So, we were able to connect on that, and to this day, we still talk about what opportunities I can apply for and what next steps I should take.
Excellent. Excellent connect with your mentor, and I'm sure that this will help all the others to understand what's the importance of a mentor. And also, let's talk about 25 countries, right? Plant a change. You have how? When was this started? And is it a official non-profit organization, or it's just a name? And then tell us more about how could you connect 25 countries and what did you add value?
All right. So this started back in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We basically started this just in Johns Creek, just for United States people. When we were expanding for the biodegradable nanorobot, we needed to collect a lot of samples. We needed to go like into sand that we hadn't really like ever lived to see. We needed to see biomes that we weren't a part of. So collecting samples was something that was a hard process to do just in the Johns Creek area. So we were able to get a lot of volunteers that slowly turned into people that are part of the organization now, that helped us to not only get the samples, but to also spread our message across. So turning a need for the sample to an actual like awareness program was something that I had to work on with my team here in Johns Creek to basically convince and to basically spread awareness to everyone in the 25 countries. So there were language barriers, there were time zone barriers. So essentially having people that are able to dedicate chunks of their time throughout the whole day essentially to meet with these volunteers was helpful. So I had four people in my team. We divided the day up in four chunks, where it's like someone that's going to wake up really early and they're going to talk to these set of people. I'm going to stay up in the afternoon and I'm going to talk to these people. I'll stay up in the evening and I'll talk to these people. And then at night, there'll be a person, like actually two people at night, where they're going to switch between talking to volunteers.
Excellent. So, coming to the countries, right? What is that you talk about? How do you connect with people? That is very important, right? Connecting the relevant people and also putting your mission goal to them, right? And convincing them. So, how do you do that? So, you also get the soil from there or soil tested there and get the results? What's the main agenda for connecting different countries?
So basically, we teach our volunteers how to test the data and send us the results.
Mhm.
So we basically start off by storytelling. I think the best way to ever reach an audience is through storytelling, talking about what's the past, the present, and the future for the actual project that we're working on. So for the 100 volunteers that we reached out to, I would say we had a turnaround rate of around 99.9%. It's all about talking to people in a way where you're able to talk to their soul. So being able to say, hey, like, this is something that needs your attention. This is not too hard, and you can do it. And I would say just after the fact that you've taught them everything, you still need to be in the loop. Be like, is there anything I can do for you? What can we do to help, improve the experience of you selecting this data and sending it back? So I would say it's more about keeping them happy and then like telling them why they're doing something, rather than just spitting out facts, statistics.
Excellent. Great job, Arya. So before we go to the nano robots, right, I just wanted one more point to be emphasized here about the patents, right? Patent is something even today everyone may not know. They might know what is a patent, but getting a patent is again a process, right? So, why did you think that you need to put a patent? At this age, how did you come to a conclusion that I need to put a patent? Were your parents are the supporters, or any of your mentor told that you need to patent this? Tell us more about the story on that aspects.
All right. So I was basically working on my nano robot where I saw that a lot of people that are actual researchers, they document their process and they put it in a journal, which kind of helps them have access to that material. While I don't have that luxury of being able to just submit it to a journal and be able to keep my ideas to myself. So I spoke about it with a couple of mentors, my parents, about this issue. And my mom suggested that maybe a patent would work for you. So I actually come from a family of lawyers. So everyone from my dad's side, everyone from my mom's side, both of them are lawyers. So we were able to talk it out with both of my grandparents, my uncles, and we were able to come to the conclusion that a patent would make sense.
Excellent. Thank you for giving an excellent thought, like how this has evolved and what you have done. So the patent is finally approved and you got it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So how have your parents so far in the family been influenced with your journey, and what role they played in shaping your values and dreams?
I would say my parents are firm believers of working hard and tra saying, okay, staying true to yourself. So you can work hard in the wrong direction, but it's not about the speed at which you're working at, it's about what way you're working. So this is a common quote that my mom always quotes every morning. It's not about the speed at which you're working at, it's the direction which you're working towards.
That's
So being able to have a family that is supporting me throughout everything that I do, throughout my different ventures, from modeling to inventing, essentially, and even from graduating early. So they've always just been there for me, and every time that I have a problem, they have a solution.
excellent. Excellent, Arya. I wanted you to tell your father and mother's name, what they do, because I just want the viewers to, how they motivate, what kind of background they have. It's very, very important for everyone to watch and know about your parents as well.
Yeah. So my dad's name is Ayush. He is a software engineer. And my mom is Nutan Upadhyay. She is originally from healthcare, but she transitioned into being a project manager. She was a project manager at Verizon for a couple years. So she really transitioned from like a hardcore healthcare field into, like an IT typical job.
Excellent. I already met your mom, and I was really, really inspired that the way she assists you, she mentors you, and she'll be always with you. Great. Congratulations, and thanks for her for mentoring you and being with you. And now, last question in the spark of inspiration, I wanted to know, how do you balance your school, your projects, and also now the added social events, right? I'm sure that you are at least having one event a week or 2 weeks bi-weekly, right? So how do you manage all this stuff?
I would say it's more about time management, having a calendar that is mapping out exactly what you need to do. There's this running joke in my family and friends where if you look at Arya's calendar, it's always full, it's always colorful. So it's all about keeping yourself organized, having everything down in your calendar where you're able to quickly look and essentially time block your time.
Excellent. So what calendar you use, and how do you streamline your calendar?
Yeah, so I use Google Calendar and Notion. So every time there's an invite or there's anything that's due, I just put it into Notion and Notion is automatically connected to my Google Calendar.
Excellent. Notion is a paid app, or how is that?
It's not paid. You can pay to use more features, but it's not paid.
Excellent. Thank you for that. It's a good tip for everyone, right? So now coming to your initiative, I wanted to talk about the initiative about this nano robots. How did you come through this, and where you are today, and what are the next steps?
Yeah. So for the nanorobot right now, it is patented, and I'm thinking of expanding it and scaling it towards more governmental organizations and more private sectors where this can actually be used. Currently, I don't have the scope by myself to be able to expand it and get it all across the world. So I really need people around the world essentially to be able to actually test my nano robot now and be able to put it to real work.
So nano robot, when you say this name, is it a hardware or a software, or what exactly do you mean by a nano robot?
It's a nanotechnology. So essentially it's a robot that's this big. We're able to code it in a way where it is able to send us all the data, all the results before it degrades. So it's like a see-through almost robot. You can see all the components in it. And it's almost like a horsefly. So it's in the shape of a horsefly. So it's more aerodynamic and everything.
What kind of technologies you have used so far?
So for the nanorobot, we were able to use chitosan um, as the main biodegradable material.
Hmm.
We were able to go to Emory Hospital and to get like a tour of their other biodegradable materials that they actually use in sutures and everything. So down from like patient implants to like the materials that they actually use to make all the all the technology that actually goes inside a human, we were able to replicate that into something that is actually not going into a human and is more safe for agriculture.
Excellent. Excellent. So many kids at your age, right? They more focus on academics and hobbies. How did you take this bold step of going beyond and creating the impact?
Yeah, I would say I was also focused on academics and hobbies. It was just this drive of how can I share what I have? How can I share my passion essentially? So spreading it across, my community, talking to people that are my age, and then slowly turning it into something that is reaching to people that are all across the world. So it was really a process of just how can I take what I love and give it to other people?
Okay. Are there any challenges you faced during this journey? Do you want to share anything like that?
Of course, I would say the main problem that I faced was just the fact that most people aren't willing to take a bet on you because of your age, being the youngest in almost all of the rooms that I enter, being the only female in most rooms, especially in technology. I would say it's sometimes nerve-wracking. I'm so young. What am I doing here? How can I give a lecture to like all these people that have been to college and I haven't even been to college yet? So it's all about being true to yourself, and you just have to take that shot sometimes. I remember I was going to this one conference at GT where they were talking about semiconductors. So I know semiconductors. I can talk about semiconductors, but being the only high schooler in that whole event was so nerve-wracking. Every time anyone would come over, they're like, "Oh, so what college are you from?" And I would stutter for like 2 seconds, being like, It's always about how you can be at places and just not get into like the peer pressure almost.
Absolutely. So, being socially, right, now that I see that you started keynote speaking as well. So, how do you feel about that? Giving a speech in front of so many audience, right? It's the keynote speaker has certain aspects which need to be delivered on the stage, right? You need to give some message with an example. So, how do you prepare for that? Do you have any mentors who give suggestions to you, or how do you prepare the slides and all? Tell us more, like 2 seconds, how do you do that?
Yeah. So at my recent keynote speaking at Microsoft, I basically pulled out a slide where I don't do most of the talking. I ask the people, the audience, essentially about their thoughts, their opinions, because I think as someone that has always been in the audience, that when people just start talking about their experience and they start giving you all these details, it gets overwhelming. So for it to be more of like a conversation with the audience, really, rather than just me standing on top of a stage and giving a speech, I would say my main key points that I like to use during a keynote speech is being able to connect with the audience. So I never write my speech beforehand. It's always freestyled at the stage. So if the audience is more more inclined towards my leadership experience, I end up talking about leadership. If they're more interested in my technological experiences, I talk more about that. So at my recent keynote speech, they were more interested in the internships and the other opportunities like the hackathons I was able to host. So that was more like of a key speech on internships rather than something that another audience would have preferred.
Excellent, Arya. I have already seen in the hackathon your keynote speech, and I know that how interactive you were. Please continue that because most of the speaking should not be from our end, but questioning people, engaging themselves, that makes you difference from the others. That's what my message to you. Because as an audience, I would love if you are engaging. Otherwise, it will be like another speech. Please continue to do that. I think I like the way you did at your age, and I started thinking about myself. Hey, when Arya can do, why can't we do? Right? It's nervous on the stage. Please continue doing. And were any during this journey, right? Especially when you enter into a social events, right? Being a girl, so any setbacks or any criticism, and how do you take at this age?
Yeah, I would say I have received a lot of criticism for being a girl in such a male-dominated field. Um, the only experience that I can say that was very demeaning. I was able to come out of it where you receive that piece of advice where, and they don't mean to come in from like a harsh point of view. They're just giving their opinion. So you just have to take it with a grain of salt at the end of the day. Like, okay, that's your opinion, and you are allowed to have it. And this is my opinion, and I'm allowed to have it.
Very
And
smart.
all right.
Very smart. Yeah. I think that's the way you handle it is very, very simple. So how do you see yourself next 5 to 10 years? How do you see yourself with this space?
So currently, I'm going to college for electrical engineering, and I want to minor in nuclear engineering. I really want to get into renewable energy. That is something that is really interesting to me, especially through the Nano robot. So essentially, the Nano robot essentially works on a solar powered system. And it's not through like the ordinary solar panels that we see on top of our houses.
Mhm.
It's basically using natural dye to collect the pigment from, so basically the sun is able to pigment the dye in a certain way, which is able to provide energy to the actual nanorobot.
Mhm.
So for that to work, I had to get into all of the renewable energy sources that we have at the moment. So I would say just that one piece of research, it led me down a rabbit hole of just renewable energy, and I want to pursue that further in the future.
Excellent. Good luck. And which college you have chosen so far?
I've been accepted to a lot of colleges. Right now, I'm looking at Duke University.
Duke University. Excellent. And the other question I want, you have been saying that you have done your undergrad, high school 2 years before, right? So tell us, how did you manage to do that? And a piece of advice to others if you want to finish your school fast and move on to do something innovation, what's your message there?
Yeah. So I would say I was able to graduate high school early. It was definitely very hard. I had to start prepping to graduate early since the seventh grade. So being in all Excel classes, being able to take a lot of course loads that are outside of your normal day-to-day schedule, um, being able to sit in classes that you don't fully understand. This year, I was basically sitting in a class where I did not take the prerequisite. So, sitting in a class where you don't know the previous material, you don't know the current material, but being able to persevere, understand the material, and do well on the tests. I would say it's not always about having the right tools, it's about the right mindset. So being able to take something that is against your odds, essentially, and turn it into something that is. So essentially, when I was preparing to graduate early last year, I I received a lot of comments that said, "Hey, if you graduate early, you're not going to get into college. You're not going to have good prospects. Your scholarship opportunities are almost close to none." So, being able to take that comment and being able to take it and being like, "Okay, that's great. How can I turn this into something that is not working against me?" So at that time, I thought I'd get zero acceptances. And right now, I can confidently say I've received over 22 acceptances to colleges.
Excellent. See, this is one thing I wanted to say. People say so many comments, but it's up to us what you want to take. If your heart says that you're very confident you can do it, we have to go ahead, right? Do you agree with me?
Mhm.
Excellent. So, if you were to give a message to one of the leader, right, what would it be? It may be anything, whatever you think. What would it be?
To a leader, I would say keep inspiring and keep doing stuff that resonates with your personal views. Being able to take something that matters to you deeply and being able to influence a lot of people is a huge privilege. So stay true to yourself and don't don't get hurt or don't get demeaned by people that are giving you their opinion. At the end of the day, it's their opinion and they have the right to their opinion, but you are you and they don't know you.
Great, great advice and message, Arya, there. And so now let's talk about the advice to the kids, right? So you have, if I were to say that when you see so many kids, you are definitely achieved something different then, right? I would always think that if there are 1,000 people, how can I be in top 50, right? With that goal, you will do something different. Now, what is your message to the younger and also older? As we know that age is not a limit these days, anyone can do anything, provided if you have a focus and passion towards that. So, what would be that message?
I would say don't be so focused on the end goal. I definitely did not start with the patented biodegradable nanorobot in mind. I started with a school garden. So the idea that you have to start with is never original, it's never the best, it's never refined. It's all about how you get started. You don't always need to have the next best Microsoft idea or wow, you've invented the next iPhone. You don't need to do something that is so original. You just need to start and the idea will shape itself.
Excellent. Excellent, Arya. So, at this age of 15, what does success mean to you?
I would say success means to me to be able to do what I love, surrounded with people that I love.
Excellent. Very nicely said. Very nicely said, Arya. So, now, last question in this for most of the people think that oh my god, I'm so small, I need to do maybe after 5 years. So if I look at you, there's nothing impossible, right? So how do you look at yourself thinking that age is not a limit, whatever I have, I have to pursue? So how did you, what is that mean to you? How can you explain to kids that age is not a limit?
Yeah. I would say back in eighth grade, so eighth grade summer, I started my first LinkedIn and I was looking at all these other students that are doing so much. They have all their resumes are impressive and they've done this internship and they have won that scholarship and it's overwhelming. I would say it's definitely overwhelming. So I would say there are two places to go from there. It's either being it's either saying, yeah, well, it exists, what should I do? Or what can I do about it? So most people go down the what should I do about it route, where it's like they have they have these people that they see that are impressive, that are kind of overwhelming, and they choose to just stay away. They stay in their own realm, in their own bubble, and they do achieve something. But at the end of the day, it's not something that they're comparing themselves with. So being able to go down a route where you're talking with talking with people that are way above your league. They're presidential scholars or they're actually like Coca-Cola scholars. So being able to talk to those people and putting yourself in their shoes and not thinking about yourself in like oh, but I don't really have anything. My resume is not that filled. My LinkedIn isn't that impressive. It's not about that. It's about how well can you confidently talk to these people and connect to them as a human. Because at the end of the day, they're also a human. So being able to look past the resume, the LinkedIn, and just being able to connect as a human has helped me more being being scared by, oh, but they're so impressive.
Very nice. You're right. You're right. Everyone's thought process is like that, but it is very important how do you tell the story, right? So you very well articulated in LinkedIn. If you wanted to, polish your LinkedIn profile, it's not a one day event. It's every day. You need to keep on improving. You need to engage. You need to communicate. Whatever you do, you write a story, right? I like the way you explained, because even in LinkedIn, you need to keep the engagement going on, right? I see that you are very aggressive in LinkedIn. That's very good. You go wherever you go, you take the pictures and write the story. That is very important for people to know about yourself. Very well. I think the last question would be, um, at your age, people will be very fickle, right? Oh, I'll take science. Oh, I'll go to computer science. I'll do that. I'll do that. And at one stage, they get influenced by their peers, friends in the school. So, did you encounter such situation, and how do you overcome that? Can you tell us how to overcome that?
Yeah. I would say being influenced by peers is not a bad thing. It's not something that should be looked down upon. It's about the people that you choose to surround yourself with. So being friends with selective people, being selective in the people that you actually consistently hang out with. There's this quote where you are like the people that, like the next five people that you hang out with, something like that. I forgot. But it's about choosing the people that you hang out with and making sure that what they're doing is not something that is distracting you from your own. When I have a community of friends that are as motivated as I am, I'm able to get motivation and I don't choose my stream of path just by talking about, oh, but my friend is going into healthcare. I need to go into healthcare. Or, oh, my friend's going into CS, so I need to go into CS. It's about being able to take their personality traits and being able to see that this is the field that is meant for them and being able to reflect and analyze that for yourself. So if I have a friend that is interested in healthcare because she actually likes helping patients, and I don't really care about the patients, it doesn't make sense for me to go into healthcare. So being able to have a supportive friend group and be able to self-reflect on yourself are the two key main things that I would say would help in the peer pressure.
Very well said, Arya. I totally agree with you. And that should be the thought process. And also, I agree, the people whom you are surrounded, we need to take that as a inspiration, and the process what they follow and apply to what you like. I would say in that way, so that you learn from your peers. You are the peers whom you are with will definitely impact you in a good way or bad way. We need to really understand what is good and what is bad. So definitely that would be helpful. And let's have a simple, fun, rapid fire. So one book you love,
The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma.
one role model you look up for.
Priyanka Chopra.
Excellent. Your dream college.
Duke University.
Uh-huh. You already achieved it. Fantastic. Favorite Indian festival?
Navratri.
Navratri. Awesome. One thing you can't live without. Don't say phone.
I would say my sister.
Oh, your sister. Excellent. A word you would use to describe yourself.
Bold.
Word. Okay. Finally, Arya, you have done, I would say, I'm very impressed the way you carry, the way you have chose things to pursue, the innovations. the speaking abilities. I'm sure that you are 360 degrees covered from all the angles, and I'm sure that you'll have a wonderful career in future. So with that said, we are almost 40 minutes now. So what is the final message to all the Indo-American and NRI youth across the world watching this or hearing about this? What is the message you want to give?
I would say stay true to your roots. It is definitely very easy to be able to get into other people's culture and being able to compare it to yours, where it's like, well, their culture is so cool, mine isn't. It's not about the culture. It's about the people that you represent. It's about being able to connect with your community that basically uplifted you. So being true to your roots and being able to basically connect with your community.
Excellent, Arya. Thank you so much for your time on a weekend. And I would encourage you to, promote this. If you see something in your way, if someone is doing outstanding, definitely we'll put on this. And all the viewers, thank you. This is all about Arya. At the age of 15, she inspired so many, including me. I look up her and say that, I need to change myself. And anyone have achieved in the community, please do notify. We can motivate by their journey and give message to the Indo-Americans in NRIs. And again, thank you for all the sponsors for like Spearsoft, Ready CPA, and also for the Ideology Media, TV5 and Mana TV for making this platform to bringing some outstanding people and give inspiration by their journey. Thank you, Arya. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
You too. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.